TGIF face. How's everyone doing today? Vince, Zig, Tony. Yesterday in the Dixie, we had a nice little reversal day. I actually looked at Grega's stuff, and there is a possibility that it doesn't stick. I have to go with it. I think it was a significant day. In fact, after I was on yesterday, Blake talked about the potential of a Euro rally. He had the spike first, and to me, it's a decent day, but you could see we rallied right up to this breakdown line. So really we need some closes back over 1220 in here above this breakdown line. We almost got right to it. I'm going to go with that. The dollar peaked, at least for now, and we take out the high of the move, because there are still some people calling for 110.5 or so to take out this low. Oh, at least for the week, you have a decent little reversal candle. I don't think we took out the off number. That was 112.32, so that's not doing it, but the Dixie is. So a decent week. I don't know. The DSI still shows tons of bulls, dollar bulls, tons of euro bears. So we'll see. I shorted dollar index yesterday, not at the top, but still have took half, about a 30 pip lead here, 32 pip lead. So I'm going to risk it. Interesting recovery here in S&Ps. Same place we held last time, right? 2,800. So we had a real nice bounce last time, right? So people are probably thinking we could get another one, maybe even think A, B, C. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be weaker this time, and we're just going to hold to keep people long, because everyone's line in the sand is this 2,800 level. And you could see if you just take 960 and 2,800, that's 160 from here. It gives you 2,640, which is, has been a pretty important area, right? Here and here and here and here and here. So I think that's where we're going to go. The one thing that everyone's pointing to right now is a shift in sentiment on DSI. I mean, you had NASDAQ at 90 and S&P's up there, and they're in the 50s. And I think NASDAQ even dropped to 38. So there's a big drop in sentiment here, probably because people are saying they have a reason, because of the trade issues going on, and there's no news about scheduled talks, and people are talking about the unpredictability, comparing the government shutdown we had here in the U.S. with the trade problem with China, that it went longer than most people thought it would, until there was so much pain that eventually the president reversed himself. And I don't know, maybe we need more pain in the S&Ps before there's a reversal. So we'll see going into June. On a monthly basis, since we're finishing, it's not a bad time to take a look at through your telescope. It's not a good looking month, is it? So the 2-month off number was 28.35. So gosh, we're getting a 2-month reversal here. If we close, I think there's a few days next week after Memorial Day, but that's not a great looking candle, is it? And look at the glaring divergence on the monthly. It's pretty glaring on the weekly as well, right? But here, and does this kind of look like a 3-drive pattern? I remember talking about it down here and said, could we get a 3-drive? I didn't believe it at the time, because I was shorting at 61.8 and 78.6. But to me, it looks like a 3rd drive. There's a monthly, and here's the weekly. Same type of picture, right? Confirmed, diverged, and even lower at this high. you know, new highs with a 64. So possible. I know the bears think that, you know, we could get something like this. We start breaking down. Right now, I would just say, you know, look for halfway back, 61.8 back. I know some bears are looking for down here. And why don't we just take a look at what might be the bottom of a megaphone top formation. Let's see what the bottom of it, where it would come in, if that's the case. And the Fed would definitely ease if we take out last year's lows. So that could actually take us to 2200, right? Okay, so, and you have the megaphone formation with the tops up here, similar. So broadening top. What? So under 2800, you know, you're talking about 640, 650 right here. This green pivot. Can it generate enough upside to put in new highs? I don't know. I don't think so. And isn't it interesting that the market could be going through a correction, not because of a strong dollar, but if the dollar is peaking, right? And I'm not saying this is going to be the big break in the dollar to get us 85 or so, but why can't we just pull back again and consolidate for 3-4 months? I don't think taking out even back to 94, 93 is going to interrupt the bigger uptrend. But I think we have to shake out some dollar bulls here over the next few months. To me, what happened yesterday in the dollar was significant because, you know, it's pretty classic, isn't it? We had a stop hunt over the highs, right? This high taken out. Buy stops were here for the bears. And all they did was clean it out. People go, okay, I'm out. And then with the same candle, within 4 hours, they would have been 20 in the money. So that's my view going into the weekend. Okay, Olivier, nice call you were. So you took some heat. You know, you can't always expect immediate gratification when you're doing things. And sometimes it takes intestinal fortitude. So with that being said, I know a pretty tough guy who trades like a warrior, and his name's Blake Morrow. You guys ever hear of him? Ever hear of Blake? So I interviewed Blake when I was at FX Street, and I remember saying, Blake, don't you ever get flat? No. I live and breathe it. I trade it all the time. I always have positions on. I went, wow, this guy, you know, he's committed. So you're still the same, Blake. Committed. And not to, I know what you're saying. No one's going to commit you. You're committed.
You know, I always have something going on. I mean, it's a rare time.
You were the only one that said that, you know, and I interviewed quite a few on FX Street, and, you know, people go, oh, yeah, you know, I get flat maybe for the weekend and da-da-da-da-da, but your answer was unique. No, I'm never flat.
I always keep something on somewhere because it keeps me engaged, and unless I'm like if I'm on a vacation, and that's really the time that I get flat and I have no positions is when I'm, you know, it's yeah.
You ever look when you're on vacation, even though you're flat?
Of course.
Okay.
You know, I'll give you like a recent example. Like 2 years ago, we went to Hawaii, and I got flat, and you know, we were in Kauai. We spent a week. It was not last summer. I think it was 2 summers ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. And it was one of those last minute. We're like, wow, we don't have any summer plans, and we didn't want to go to Mexico because of the Zika scare at the time. I remember it was 2 years ago because my sister was trying to get pregnant, and so we're like, well, we don't want to go to Mexico. And then my mother-in-law, she was like, well, we're going to Kauai. Yeah, I think it was June, and she's like, "Why don't you guys go there?" And we found some tickets super cheap. We got an Airbnb, which was literally across a golf course from the hotel they were at, and we actually did the trip on the cheap, and it was nice. I really enjoyed Kauai.
Was that your favorite island in
is,
Kauai?
yeah.
Because a good friend of mine who also was a Marine, who's been all over the world, says it's his favorite place in the world.
Yeah, it really is. I'm not I like Hawaii. I think it's great. I've been, I spent a lot of time on an island. I was on the island of Guam from
Yeah.
91 to 92 for a year and a half. And so I got a pretty bad case of island fever. And
Yeah.
I like the islands. I like to go visit. And, but, for me, Hawaii is not the paradise that a lot of people see it as.
Okay.
I enjoy the water, and I enjoy I get enough sun where I live, so it's not a necessity for me to go on a vacation to sit on a beach, because I get, I'm in sunlight 300 days out of the year here.
Yeah.
So, but going to Hawaii
heat.
multiple times, Kauai was my favorite island, and from here on out, going to Hawaii, I can't imagine going anywhere else. Is definitely my favorite place. But the reason why I was telling you this is just because I went with no positions, and then one day, it was one morning, I still had a hard time sleeping in, like completely sleeping in, because it was kind of warm and humid, and everybody's crashed out. I was up for by myself for like 2 hours. I did have my computer, and I started trading, and so lo and behold, it's like vacation time. My wife wakes up. She's like, did you make some coffee? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm in some positions. She's like, oh, geez, here you go again. And it actually prolonged like for another couple hours, because I was stuck in positions. The volatility was so high that I had to get in and trade. Needless to say, I ended up getting out of my positions a couple hours later, and then I think I ended up flat, not really making much, but it wasted a couple hours of my time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm on vacation. I really not need to be trading. But anyway, let's go over to the I want to show you the dollar here. By the way, if I sound a little tired, I am. We went out to dinner late. You guys might have seen a picture that I tweeted last night about, we were at the Sanctuary Resort, which is not too far away, probably like 4 miles away from where I live. We were up on the mountain having dinner.
Nice.
It's the most beautiful weather Phoenix has had. I can't remember being this time of year being as beautiful as it is. So we went out to dinner with some friends. Anyway, so if I sound a little tired, that's it. The dollar. Yesterday you said you said this move was significant. I do see it as very significant. We hit that. We basically put in a double top, and you see where we're at now. We're testing this. This is what I like to call the resistance zone. This is the breakout point. Let me get rid of this.
97.80-ish play.
Yeah, 97.80, 97.70 actually. So yeah. It's the breakout point, and we've double top. We've come down. We've retested it. Now, if I was a dollar bull, and I'm not saying that I am or I'm not. Matter of fact, I should take that back. I'm actually selling dollars right now, so I guess that would make me a dollar bear at the moment. But if I was a bull, I'd be really worried if we got below here. I'd definitely be worried if we got below there. So if you're looking at this like support zone, we're on it. And if you're long the dollar, you got to be a little careful if we break below that 97.70 level. And you can see we held to a T. I mean, why is it so big? Because look, this is, let me grab a pen. That pen will work. Let me grab a pen. So high, right? High, I'm freehanding this, so bear with me. High, resistance, all right there. See, I mean, it's very technical, and it's very easy to read. I tell you right now, we break below that, and it's going to get a little scary if you're long the dollar. I mean, this is just all there is to it. So if you're if you're long the dollar, you know, and look, I've got traders in our chat room, in our ForexAnalytix chat room, that are fading the euro right now. They've been selling the euro above 112 or near 112. I saw them yesterday fading it at, you know, 111.70. That's fine. You can be bullish the dollar right now. It's okay. But if we get below that support zone, I don't know if you really want to be long the dollar. But that's, you know, again, this is where you start looking from a risk reward perspective. If you're buying the dollar, fine, get long. Gets below here, get out. I'm always in the camp that it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. So if you're wrong, get out. And
that's a pearl.
Yeah, well, just take your loss and get out. It's okay.
I love that.
Well, it's so true, right?
Well, yeah, sure, because I haven't listened to it at times in my career.
Yeah, well,
I've stayed wrong. I've done it. I know how
we've all
don't
done
do
it.
Yeah.
The whole reason why we do these webinars, you know, Dale's got, you know, 400 years of trading experience. I've got, you know, 25. You know, but I've done things that I shouldn't have done, and I've lost money. And so if I can save you guys from making the same mistakes, that to me is very valuable to you. It's hopefully providing some value to you. So what I'm telling you is, yeah, I've been wrong. I've stayed wrong. And I'm in the camp now that if it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. Okay. Just if you find yourself on the wrong side of the market, I'm a lot more how should I say? I'm a lot more sensitive to this rule now than I've ever been because of the amounts that I trade. I don't trade in small position sizes. I'm trading multi-million-dollar positions. Like you might be trading 10,000 in currency or 100,000 in currency. I'm trading 100 to 10 times that amount plus, sometimes 400 to 40 times that amount. So I'm very sensitive to the fact that if I'm wrong, I just need to get out, take my loss, and move on. I can't sit in a losing trade. I'll never make it back. But you should come with that attitude all the time, not just if you're trading my size. You got to go, look, I'm wrong, I get out, and take your loss. That's why I say right now it's okay. If you want to be the long dollar, sure, go ahead, for sure. But we get here, we get here, somewhere down here, and you probably want to think twice about what you're doing, because we get through those levels, and it's going to start, you're going to start to see a long liquidation of dollars. And then you can get a little bit even more technical with that and say, well, if we get really below these supports, then you have a double top, and then double top, you can go, well, that measurement of a double top could take us quite substantially lower. That's why all this comes with a warning. Now I could go through every major currency pair. I'm not going to do that, because as you guys know, if you want my analysis, you go ForexAnalytix, go to basic technical analysis. Well, that's Bitcoin. Let's give me a different pair. You can go to basic technical analysis and look in the end of day analysis, and look at the chart that I posted, and you can know exactly how I feel about each and every pair. But I'm going to share with you not just the dollar index. I'm going to share with you one that I'm currently long, and I'll show you the reason why. This is the Kiwi. Okay, the Kiwi dollar has been beat down, and this is, guys, go look at the chart of the day from Thursday or maybe Wednesday night. Man, I think it was Wednesday night, not yesterday. It was Wednesday night, right? So here, blog. This is free. Chart of the day, Kiwi. You can see exactly. I was buying it yesterday aggressively. and I made really good money yesterday. Yesterday was a really big day for me for this month. It was actually my month. It was the biggest day of the month for me, profitability wise, yesterday.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. But I was playing the Kiwi long from that support. Okay.
Can I just say one thing about our analysis? A lot of people put out analysis, but they don't put skin in the game. And your analysis you put out because you believe it, and you're doing it and assuming risk on a lot of the stuff that you post.
Oh, yeah, there's one there. It's one thing to call. I hear people like, I called it. Yeah, but how did you trade it?
That's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line. That's all that really matters.
So, I mean, that's the conviction of your work, is that you do it.
I don't, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't trade everything that I write, obviously, but I'm not going to sit here and, go, hey, look at that. I called that, and, and then not have traded it. A lot of times I'll look at analysis and I'll go, oh, yeah, I was seeing that, that low over here. And like, give you an example. This is the chart of the day from yesterday in the euro dollar. I did not, I mean, I bought the euro and sold it. I think I made like 10 pips on it, just, trading this reversal. If you were in the chat room yesterday, about 23 hours ago, you probably heard me say, and you can go back and you can go look through the chat. You can go all the way back to yesterday, 23 hours ago. You could probably go all the way back here, and I'd have to go back and, go through all this. And you can go, oh, by the way, I took some long Kiwi exposure off, buying more at 30. You can, but that was earlier, actually. That was last night. But you can go back and watch that, where I said, we get through 40, I'm playing the euro dollar for a squeeze. And
that's another point, Blake, is that there's great content. So if you were, say you were busy during the day and you weren't in private members chat, you could go in there and just scroll back.
Yeah, I think we keep like 3 days worth of chat, because and it's all for storage reasons. It's not, there's no other reason than, for us to house all that. There's so much chatting going on that, for us to keep all the charts, and it just, it takes up too much resources. But anyway, what I was saying yesterday,
it's not about that.
I'm sorry, Steve.
It's not about storage. It's about that, if we keep that on, the chat room becomes, very heavy and slow afterwards. It's not about storage, unfortunately. It's about speed. But yes, it's exactly as you said, Blake.
Okay. You sound like my 14-year-old correcting me, but thank you. Dad, it's not aluminium, it's aluminum. Thank you.
You're right, Blake.
Yeah, catch me on a Friday when I've not slept a lot, and then I'm going to give you a lot of smart-ass remarks too. So yesterday, when we passed through 40, I knew it was going to squeeze pretty aggressively, because that was resistance. And when it's 40, I picked up the euro and just made a quick like 10 or 12 pips on it. Those of you that were in the chat room remember. So I didn't play this whole move. I didn't play this whole reversal, but I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about it. Thinking about like playing it more aggressively to the long side because of what we've seen with the dollar index. So, but one of the currency pairs that I think you have to keep an eye on is this Kiwi. This Kiwi has now broken this is a 2-month downtrend line, and we're now making lower or higher lows. And if we take out these highs right here, which is, 65, let's just call it 65.50, we're only 10 pips away. We start breaking that, and now you've got higher highs and higher lows. Now you got a, full-on trend reversal. Does that mean the Kiwi's going back to, 70 cents? No, but,
why long Kiwi over Aussie? And I know, Aussie Kiwi's coming down, and was it because there was more compression built up in Kiwi to outperform Aussie?
Yeah, I think there was, and here's the thing. I think the Aussie Kiwi can still come down. I do ultimately want to be a buyer, but look at this chart. This is one that I did short yesterday, and I made 70 pips actually shorting the Euro New Zealand. Everybody was very well aware. I was selling this in the ascending wedge.
Wow.
We were actually testing wedge support now. So I traded it from here down to here, and I already got out. And now we break through this, and you're going to see the Kiwi really start to, turn on the heat, for shorts. So
good trade selection.
Yeah, so it's not just. And did I choose that as a chart of the day 2 days ago, 3 days ago? No, I guess I didn't. But if you obviously if you read the ForexAnalytix analysis, you can go back and just see we've been talking about that ascending wedge for all week long. I mean, that's been like a very much on my radar, and everybody in the chat room knows that we've been talking about that ascending wedge just all week long. Ascending wedge, ascending wedge, ascending wedge. No change in outlook. I mean, it's just we've been hounding on it, but now we're attacking wedge support, and that breakdown right there could mean way more Kiwi strength across the board. So anyway, just a couple things I wanted to focus on this morning. Steve Stelios, is he here?
I am here. Good morning.
We finally got it, right?
What? Sorry? Oh yeah, the end of May came before. Will come at the end of May.
June when?
June 7th.
How many people are throwing a party now? I mean, there's got to be a lot. I mean, let's also acknowledge the fact that I don't know if there's an easier job or a harder job, excuse me, in Europe right now than the one that Theresa May had. So I should acknowledge the fact that's got to be like the hardest job ever, right?
Well, no matter what she did, she was always going to disappoint 50% of the people, or 48% or 52%. So yes, it was a very hard job. Now, admittedly, most people will say that she kind of botched it, and really it could have handled it much better. But the end is here, and let's see who's going to replace her. That's the big question now.
Yeah. Now what happens next? But that's obviously had some influence on the cable. I think an important thing for the pound today is a close above 127. We'll see if that happens. But I'm going to pass it over to you guys. Steve, good morning to you.
Blake, you want to talk about the promotion before you go?
Yes, I've been promoted.
Okay, congratulations on that too.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been promoted today.
Yeah.
Yes, the promotion.
I can mention it if you want.
Okay, go ahead and trade, Blake.
Yeah, but we should talk about, guys, we have a Memorial Day promotion. Steve will show you the details. Steve, is he there?
It says he has a bad internet connection today.
Oh. Well, is he? I see his mic is on. Huh.
Yeah, he's asking if Greg or Andre can cover for him.
Hey, Blake.
Oh, he's okay. So let's do this. We got durable goods orders coming out here momentarily, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So let's go over to. I'll cover that really quick here while we're seeing if any of the other guys are around. Steve's on an island, and so that's probably the issue here. So. This is a data flash, guys. If you don't know that, this is inside the ForexAnalytix platform. So you can see where it says Open Data Flash here, automatically open with dashboard. This pops out, okay? Or you can input it into. If you undo that, it puts it in. You uncheck that, it puts it in one of these tabs. But I have it so you can separate it. Okay, now this data flash is almost as fast as my Bloomberg, which Bloomberg costs me nearly $3,000 a month to get breaking data. So here, stand by. It's coming out. It says 10 seconds.
Drum roll. Oh, it's red.
Yeah, a little bit of a miss. And so dollar yen's under a little bit of pressure. You can see Euro's moving up. Cable's bouncing. Kiwi looks a little stronger. Dollar yen, a little weaker there, following the data. So, yeah, that should keep some downside pressure on the dollar. So this is just going to accelerate, you know, this dollar selling that we've already had coming into the day. So let's see. I'm waiting for this Kiwi to blast above 50 because I think it really starts squeezing up there, personally. Let's see the euro if it makes it above this 112 again. Again, you guys, I've pointed out all the dollar charts. You got to be a little worried about, the potential of an acceleration here of dollar, dollar selling, especially with the price action that we saw yesterday. So just be really, really, really careful if you're long dollars right now. Especially if the euro starts trading up into new highs. You got the Kiwi above the above the 50 level. I know the Aussie actually also looks pretty constructive here. You get the Aussie above. You'll see this. I put this this resistance, this alarm here yesterday that comes in 69.35. So you're talking about another 25 pips or so. And actually, let's take a little bit closer look at this Aussie really fast. See, that Aussie is actually taking out a downtrend line as well. I would not want to be short this right now. I'm just saying, and I'm not long. I'm just trading the Kiwi long right now, but I wouldn't want to be short that either. That Aussie, if you ask me, looks like we're coming right back up to here at 69.60 ish. So it looks like it's going to continue to squeeze. So yeah, I'd be a little bit careful being on the short side of that one too. Now that we've taken out this downtrend line, definitely get worried about it once you start taking out these highs, because then you start making higher highs. All right. So just something that I would be paying attention to. The Swissy bear flag pattern. We're below the 618. That looks like it's taking us down to this downtrend line. I actually had a short in the dollar Swiss yesterday, and I took it off right on this bounce for just a little gain, and I didn't stick with it, which is a shame. It's definitely my fault for not sticking with my gut instinct there on the bear flag pattern. And it's not only a bear flag pattern on the dollar Swiss. Look at the dollar yen. Dollar yen's got a nice little bear flag pattern as well. So, this is all pointing towards pretty steep dollar weakness. I mean, if you look at this dollar yen, where it could go, I mean, you're talking about a move below 107.50 ultimately. So, something that I think you should be thinking about, just where the dollar can go. It's across the board. It's not just the dollar yen, or it's not just the euro dollar. I mean, you're talking Aussie, Kiwi, the Canadians, the outlier right now. I think a lot of that has to do with the crude oil move that we've seen. So in order for the dollar Canadian to move lower, to continue to move lower, I think we're going to have to see some pretty good crude oil strength, or a crude oil bounce. Which, by the way, Steve had a great call yesterday on crude as crude oil came under pressure. It really started to break down. It was a good call, wasn't it?
Yeah, not only good call, but he was there. He traded his call again. See what I'm saying is the difference with what we do here is, we're not just, analysts.
All right. Well, hey,
Nice.
I just want to say, Paul Franco is coming in, right?
Yeah, I saw a Skype
I think
call
Paul
coming
Franco
in.
is going to come
And
in.
Andre.
and Andre. So I don't want to take everybody's time here. Let's bring in some of the rest of the team.
Yeah, bring in the cleanup hitter.
We're gonna bring in the closers right now.
Yeah,
closers. These are if I'm talking baseball. Where is? I'm looking for Paul.
He might be under me. There, if you see a second Dale Pinkert.
I just had him. Hold on. I found him. Make panelist. Okay, and let's see if Andre is here. I'm gonna find him. There's Andre, bringing him over as a panelist, and we got yes, okay. So it looks like we have a few guys over here. There's Andre, he just came over. Good morning, Andre.
Hello, everyone, good morning.
Hi, Andre.
Let me see, I'm gonna grab Paul Franco. We can let him speak for a few moments after Andre. So a couple of you guys, how you guys doing?
I'm here, can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear all you guys. Yeah, I know we got Andre here. Oh, hey, I'm gonna pass it over to Andre for a few minutes. Andre,
Sure.
thank you for coming in, and then maybe you can show a few charts, and then Paul Franco,
Yeah, I will go.
maybe take
for
the
that.
last 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
The offer, the promo.
I just need 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Then
I
really
just
quick,
need
let me go back to myself.
Go.
Well, if you want to throw it to me, and I'll throw it, or I'll.
Yeah,
Then
we'll
Andre or
do
somebody
that. But
can
let
throw it to
me just talk about if you guys have not seen the offer. Remember, it's only good for the next few days. So take advantage of it over the weekend. Buy 1 month, get one free. 20% discount on semi-annual. 25% discount on annual subscriptions. This is not the best offer we offer. The best offer we have all year, but it's the best offer you're going to get for probably the next 6 months. So. If you were on the fence and you're like, well, I don't, I've been waiting to join ForexAnalytix, you couldn't have a better time than doing it right now, because if we have a different offer, which we will at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, however you want to look at it, it might be a little juicier. You can always upgrade and even get a better price then. So if you want it, and we always recognize and what's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledge. Yeah, if it's a better offer, we will we'll give you the best price that we have at that moment in time. So, and then once you upgrade, you get to stay with that price for as long as you're continuing on it.
There's another way of looking at it. Every time, most people that are listening to us every day risk more than 15 pips on a trade. So your risk to be a part of our community is 15 pips on a standard size contract.
That's so true. Well, hey, I'm gonna pass it over to Paul Franco, so he's gonna give you a little bit of an update. And now remember, Paul Franco he's not only doing the European crossover in the morning. Paul, I just passed you the charts, but he also does the wrap up. Started this week. It's free for you guys to attend the wrap video. So check him out when you guys get an opportunity. Thanks for stepping in, Paul.
Oh, sure, great. I'm glad to do it.
Have a great weekend, Blake.
Thanks, you guys.
Happy Memorial Day.
Have a great long Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday, guys. It is a long weekend.
And Dale, you can see my charts, right?
Got him, Paulie.
Okay, great. I probably need your help when Andre comes on to switch over. I always have a problem with that.
Oh, sure.
And I don't do it very often. Blake made a good point about the Kiwi, and we had done some work on the Kiwi. It's one of the charts, or one of the pairs that we do go on and track here on the bias chart. Pull this back. This is actually the bias chart that one of the guys had made for Blake back in the day when we're doing the when he was with Wise Trade. So we still have that same bias chart. Blake uses it every once in a while, but we use that as to go and list not only the majors, but we also look at the cross rates. You can see here with the Kiwi, we have a resistance at 65.61. One of the things that I'm looking on the daily is, and when the Kiwi and the Aussie were under a lot of pressure, the Kiwi was actually holding up. We kept saying a lot better than the Aussie, and we had this little band between 64.93 and 65.17. Well, it looked like it's probably it would look like it was gonna break down, but I tell you what, we talked about this morning. Wow, look at it. It hung on. It hung on to this. Actually, I think we had it listed as 64.96. We even pushed it down a couple of pips. I think we even put that as our adjust that, yeah, for our low. So Blake has a good point. I mean, this thing, it looks like it can really pop. But if you're looking as to where there might be some trouble, not trouble, but some initial resistance, because we said, hey, look, there's a level here, but we can probably goose some more stops before maybe you see some people starting to lay off some of their longs. Is going to come in right here. We have it at 65, 61 right there. You see the touches coming across here. So that might, if you're long, that play that Blake's got, breaking that trend line, that thing may still have a lot of room to go in and move. So we'll see what happens on that, but just want to touch on that. One of the things I did want to touch on that we focused on the wrap yesterday, and one of the things that we were in the European crossover, if you're a subscriber, that is on at 4 a.m. Eastern time, 3 o'clock in the morning my time, and we were playing the whole thing for the S&Ps to come under pressure. And we say, hey, that may not come to fruition, but we're going to gear everything up towards that. Our bias chart, support, resistance. One of the things that we were focusing on, and that had been hanging around for so long, we mentioned it on the wrap also, was when you looked at the euro dollar, and you and Blake were talking about the euro a little earlier, this thing couldn't get a rise to save its life. I mean, it was just looking horrible every day. Anybody, and I saw some people that would step in, and there was like, this euro's dead, it just won't move, it won't move. You could see it was just horrible on the way down. So it couldn't get any kind of lift. So when we were doing our analysis going into yesterday, because we said, hey, look, this is important, this is 1130 support. Our bias chart support was 1124, but we said this is important on the daily. If we get a close below 1130, it's going to open the door for a move to 110 even with a pause at 1080. Well, when the euro dipped, it turned around and fought back, and not only fought back pretty hard, it pushed even further. And Blake's right. There were some people trying to step in and sell it, 40 some, 60, 70. And what I was saying to people initially, we were saying, hey, look at 69. I said, hey, look, the first initial thing is going to come in, and we covered it even the wrap at 80. I go, you might be able to catch a few nickels, but you got to allow this thing to potentially move higher, because anybody that stepped in the wave, that hung on for the shorts too long, they're probably going to get squeezed a little bit, even though longer term the euro looks weaker. So what we're looking for today on our bias chart resistance, we'll show that here, is 1220. And what we came up with that was, if you look at this downtrend line, that comes in right here, actually 1216, and then our little level bar coming up here, right here, some resistance coming in right there at 1220. I think if you look at the most recent fib, I think the 78% will come in like around 28 or something, because 1204 was a 61%. We just barely dipped back. But the euro has the possibility to still move up a little bit higher. I think the longer term outlook for the euro, especially with the Italian debt situation, I think I saw something across Reuters. Salvini's going to be meeting with France's Macron, discuss issues about basically ways to circumvent the EU, essentially. But that situation is not going to change anytime soon. And we saw the PMIs, and one of the things that we were working on the PMIs, we're expecting weaker PMIs. So even when the euro was trading at 1150 on Wednesday, it still offered the opportunity to still get short, expecting those weaker PMIs. So we can still push up a little bit higher, and that'll offer you a better opportunity if you want to be bearish to euro. I know Blake has some concerns with the dollar index, and we'll touch on that. The focus on the European crossover that's a little bit different is that whilst all of our stuff is very short-term oriented, and so it doesn't mean, like a lot of the traders in the chat room, they trade from long term, some medium term, some short term, a few people scalp. That's my preference, is scalping. But that being said, I just wanted to go and touch base here, or touch out here on the cash dollar index. It was huge. This is a huge level, this 97.89. I know you and Blake were talking about 97.70, and one of the things that I think is a strength that you said here on ForexAnalytix is each of us has our own analysis. We don't, one guy might be bearish, the other guy's bullish. Me and Steve were talking on the daily wrap a couple of days ago, and we were talking about, I think it was the Canadian dollar versus the Kiwi. And I was saying, hey, look, it looks like it could rally here because there was some, it hit at 61%. And he said, yeah, I'd be short longer term. But he goes, but my style is different. And that's true. So what I'm looking at here on this is this cash dollar index. This is a huge level. It's not only a big level here, but it's also, when you look on here on a weekly level, this 97.89 goes way back. I mean, it's a huge level. It also happens to confluence, and here's on the weekly level with the touches here. It also happens to confluence with the 61%, which is the from 88.23 to 103.83. So pretty big. And when we finally got above this thing and we gave it back, everybody was thinking that we were going to slide down, and the dollar held up very, very well. So we rallied back up, and last week we were able to climb back above it, and it looked like, boy, we're probably going to go to the stars. And we ran into some trouble. And one of the things that I think it is pulling back, I think you mentioned, you made a good point. You said maybe, well, you're talking about equities. You said maybe we'll see a pullback because the dollar's so strong. I don't think the dollar's going to heck in a handbasket. But one of the things that I was pointing out on the European crossover this morning, you know, yesterday we had our bias chart resistance at 98.33, and the high was at 98.36, I think it was. And I mean, all I was doing was going by the touches, no magical number or anything like that. But my point was, at that time we had several traders in the chat room that had been short the euro, and they're actually covering because it was hitting their area, which was right around there, 11.15. And I thought the dollar would pull back, but I didn't think we'd have this much of a pullback. Although the resistance held, actually, you know, was selling dollars at the time. But the point I was going to make is for concerns about the dollar, is one of the things I looked at, and we like to cover the news. We cover two pieces of news in the morning. Basically, kind of gives you the flavor for what the day is ahead. And so one of the things it was mentioning was, it goes from the day before. It said the most striking was the U.S. manufacturing growth stumbled to a near decade low. And what that's done is now I think it's starting to, the market's starting to price in if the Fed's going to be able to go in and cut rates later on, maybe in the fall. And if that's the case, then we can see the dollar pull back further. And so today, when we look at our bias chart resistance, we're looking our bias chart support for 97.45 here on the dollar, and I'll show it to you. My charts that I like to look at from a little bit longer term basis. I don't generally look at 4-hour charts. I look at the 2-hour chart. So you can see coming down here at 97.45, right in here, you've got some great touches. We can go and slide there, and that would probably come along or come at the same time about the euro probably ticking up to about 12.20. But I don't want to step on Andre's time. I don't know if he's ready. I just want to go and touch base on a couple of things that we were looking at. If he needs more time, then I can, you know, continue on some further analysis. But I just
take your time. Take your time, Paul. No issues.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know when you're ready. I'm, like I said, I'm just over here tap dancing until you're ready. But I just want to give an idea about the European crossover. We do make it available for later in the day, but the great thing about the service is they have it live, and then Stelios tapes it. So you're saying, well, I don't trade the European hours. Well, great. He actually tapes it and makes it available in the chat about an hour to hour and a half before the New York Open opens. And like I said, we're focused on very short-term trading. And lots of times people that don't necessarily use that, they'll use the support resistance that we're looking at as areas to enter, or in this case, sometimes in case with the euro, areas to go in and exit. But getting back here with the dollar yen, this market continue to remain weak. I think it does have something to do, obviously, with the interest rates. But last week we were looking for a move to 1060-ish with the pause at 1031. We did. I was talking to Steve. I thought maybe there might be one more chance that we could move higher here in the dollar yen, but the equities were so weak that it didn't even have a chance to make it back up, not even to our resistance, which we had at 1045. But the key with the dollar yen, I'm thinking, is not only is it's being impacted by the rates, but I think it tells something a little bit more about the S&Ps, and that we'll probably see even further lower prices. One of the reasons that we got short with the S&Ps, and we covered the same thing. Like I said, we covered just two news stories, one on FX and then one on the morning bid, which the morning bid kind of gives a quick review of everything that's going on in Europe and also the U.S. But one of the things that they had mentioned was, you know, the situation with U.S. and China is looking to potentially, with quote unquote, they said, morph into something bigger in the sense that it may be like a technology Cold War. And that's what I was thinking. I go, if you're long S&Ps, why would you even hang on? And then we ended up the rest of the show positioning ourselves for these bigger moves that we thought were going to matriculate. And they ended up pretty much, not everything across the board, but they pretty much played out, although we saw the dollar turn around and change. And I think it's being impacted. To me, I think you're going to see some follow through because of the technicals. But to me, I think you now, even if you were a doubter, you now have to acknowledge, well, look, if we got manufacturing PMIs the worst in a decade, and right now we're still in May. So if you think about all the way out to, let's say, the fall, and things start to slow down, the market's priced in months ahead, then that probably does make sense that the dollar would pare back. It's a least dirty shirt in the clothes hamper. But that being said, when you factor in that they may end up potentially cutting, that may work as a ball and chain on the dollar, and maybe we see a little bit further correction here with the dollar.
Well, this trade war, Paulie, makes that cleanest dirty shirt. When you drop your spaghetti dinner on your shirt, makes it a little dirtier.
Yeah, I don't see China backing down. I mean, the only thing, like you said,
well, Xi might when he goes for his re-election in 25 years.
No, yeah, exactly.
See, they don't have to worry about elections.
Their focus is from a longer term, but
100 years.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be. But
I was being sarcastic.
Getting onto the cable. We saw May. Well, if you were up in the morning, you saw May, give her resignation, or essentially resignation. Excuse me. But talking about the cable, one of the things that we looked at was just 25.98 confluence with 25.90, the 78%, and we know that the cable loves the 78%. A lot of people started to position themselves for this move once they get someone new, but it's kind of like anticlimactic now. We already know it's June the 7th. Now it's just a matter of who's going to be the person. And we didn't see that much of a rally. Actually, I myself faded it for just a scalp while she was talking, and we didn't get much. I mean, we came right back down. So my thinking is we'll probably want to still come down here and test down here. I think it was Grega, or I don't know if it's Andre, I really don't remember. Somebody has some key levels at 25.50, but really down here, we got some decent support. This whole area is good volume here, but the cable, just like remember when the euro would look terrible, has not been able to, capitalize on that. But obviously, one of the things that people always say, and I trade the technicals, but I like to combine, they say the best trade is when you can combine a fundamental story with a technical. But they always say is trade technicals, always go with technicals, but fundamentals will kick technicals into A every time, overwhelming fundamentals. And that's what we've got here. Because like I said, with the cable, when it faked everyone out, we got this close down here below this 29.80. It looked like we were going down, and we turn around and take off and look like we're going to the Venus, and we start heading lower. Amanda's been on top of this, man. She's been reading those politics and from like nobody's business, and it's just been a sell. Despite every once in a while you get some good news, it's just like it just continues to weaken. Even today with the announcement, it was somewhat anticlimactic now, so I'm not sure how much of a rally we'd get. I was thinking, well, when it does, she's not going to take. Well, it's going to be June the 7th anyway. But I can. The only other one mark I want to point out, we can always look at cross rates, but I don't want to jump into Andre's time. Is on the dollar CAD, and one of the things that we've hit on is this what I call the elusive 3504, and this market, it's interesting because here's that 3504 I'm talking about, the daily close. I know a lot of people were bullish, then some people got bearish, then they got back to bullish, and it looked like we were taking off on Friday last week. Finally, we're going to mount above here, and every time it pops its head above the foxhole, it gets shot right back down. And we saw the same thing. And here yesterday, it looked like, okay, now we're going to push again. Still couldn't do it. I just don't understand. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this dollar CAD. To me, it feels like it would be heavier. We've seen some good data, so I was thinking that we'll eventually come back down here to at least test this trend line, but we just got a mixed bag in here. So interested to see what Andre's take is on that, as well as on the euro. The euro, like I said, I think we can look for a move up here to the 1220 here, And lastly, I'll see, unless he needs some more time, my take on the euro is that from a structure standpoint, how well it has came back when it was on the, like I said, maybe not as impressive as saying it rose like a phoenix from the ashes, but I tell you what, this thing looked like a goner. And like I said, a daily close below 1130. Hey, we're going to 110 with a pause of 1080, and boy, we turned around and fought back. So you look at this.
It looks like a technical. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Paul. It looks like a technical. It's forming a technical double bottom also.
I was going to ask you about that. What was your take on that?
That bottom, rejecting the close price, the body candles of the first bottom is trying to form the double bottom. Obviously, we need to wipe to break the neck above to validate that as a potential reversal behavior. But you are right. We are now facing those moving averages also, so it may feel some pressure there. Let's see.
Yeah, I think we'll see how this plays out. I mean, we got a pretty good little trend line in here. Most of my trading is so focused on short term, so it always helps to get you and Steve's and some of the other guys' analysis to see what they're looking from a little bit longer term perspective. But yeah, this 1220 confluence in here with this trend line at 1216, I think we'll get some pushback. But yeah, I mentioned yesterday on the show, I mean, this was a good little area here, but like I said, you might be able to grab I think I said a couple of nickels scalping. But it's a lot of people stepped in and tried to sell it too quickly. I've been in that camp before. Like Blake says, you learn the most from your mistakes. And I was like, no, hang on, because these guys didn't look terrible in the morning when it was down here, and it kept fighting and they make a little bit new low, and then finally. Whoop. And so I think we're still open to push higher, whether something eventually develops, although longer term things still look terrible in Europe. But once again, the dollar may, if they're going to factor in eventual rate cut, which it could very well be in the fall, well, then that will allow the dollar to pull back. But if you're ready, you could go in and take over.
Yeah, you can press to me the.
Yeah, Dale, can you assist me with that?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm never very good. I every time I did, I probably put on somebody else or put on channel 5 or something. I could never get that switch over. Let me know when you got his charts up and I'll back out.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Andre.
Okay, I have the options here.
Thank you, Paulie.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Have a great Memorial Day weekend, my trading warrior brother.
Yeah, I'm looking to get some rest, trying to finally whip this doggone call I've had. But yeah, good luck to both you guys and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, buddy.
You too. Thank you.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Mr. Dale. How are you?
Good. So what's on the radar? Cable here, huh?
So cable. Let's start with cable because let's start with Paul left.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I published that chart previously before the market reached this zone or this cluster zone between the 127 extension, 141, 127, 78% retracement. So this is the completion point at 168 extension. This is where the bullish sharp pattern gets completed, and the default target for that pattern is the 50% retracement pullback. So we need the price to retrace 50% from this monthly resistance. And obviously, as Paul has mentioned, and we are all aware, there are a lot of fundamental pressure on cable instruments. So at this point, beside the fact that we have the pattern printed, there's nothing telling me the pattern will not work. Actually, the pattern is printed. We need to respect that. But assuming the huge pressure outside and outside the market itself, but outside the price action, eventually it's not the best trading opportunity because it's a counter trend behavior, and well, it is what it is. This is the bullish sharp pattern printed at 168 extension with targets at previous daily support level. Let's jump into euro versus dollar, which I'm positioned with a small position from this bottom. This is also published before the completion point. This is the yellow, the orange, bullish butterfly pattern printed.
Hey, Stel, I think your mic is open.
So this is the
Sorry,
bullish.
guys.
No
Okay,
problem, no problem, Stelios. This is the bullish butterfly pattern. The pattern has already produced some interesting momentum here, printing this daily resistance, and we are now facing a potential, or at this point, it's just one eventual double bottom. As I mentioned before on charts from Poly, we have these. We can go into. Let me try to zoom in this bottom, because for me, this is what makes the difference between a technical double bottom or a simple double bottom, where we are able to identify the market printing a second bottom, but we are not aware about the close prices. Or let's imagine the price closes below the previous one, the market will print us a double bottom, but the technical double bottom has a specific criteria, and for me is exactly this. The market will retest the close price of the first one and will reject it as soon as the market violates us above this previous close price. We have also the daily fractal above, so let's assume as soon as the market violates this structure, we'll validate this shape as a potential reversal behavior. So at that point, if the market violates this daily resistance, based on the Fibonacci criteria that we have here, and the market has presented us at this point, we have this 127 extension from this first swing, so that the bottom to the most recent daily fractal extended above. So this is the completion point for one eventual bearish Gartley pattern, which by default will search for a 38% retracement. And above at 78% retracement, we have also the 78% retracement from this weekly fractal resistance. So we have also this bearish shark pattern, actually a bearish cipher pattern projected at 78% retracement, 113.75. So this is a few points below the golden fib. This golden fib is, let me try to push. This is a Fibonacci retracement from these monthly fractals. So I will not be surprised to see euro versus dollar, if breaks above this daily fractal, trading this golden Fibonacci level. So obviously the 38% retracement from all these move, from all this bearish momentum, is the default target for the bullish butterfly pattern, so which I'm still waiting for. So the market has rejected the idea to cover that Fibonacci level, so I'm still waiting for that possibility at this point. So double bottom and a broken neck will increase the probability to trade higher. Let me just go into a fast mode, Dale. Aussie versus Australian dollar is now recovering above this previous. This is a parallel channel between those highs and parallel with these lows. So we are now kind of recovering above this structure. I was expecting the market to trade a few points below at 0.7067 to print the sharp pattern at 224 extension. Actually, we have a confluence. We have a confluence between two advanced pattern formations around us at the same price level, and because Blake is also positioned on Kiwi. We have this descending channel. We are, as mentioned by Blake, we are now breaking above this channel. Let me go into a 4-hour time frame chart to show you what we have here. We are actually, the market is violating at this point one of the criteria to form not a very common, not so common bearish Gartley pattern at 127 extension. The market is already violating these previous highs, so which suggests more bullish momentum, as mentioned by Blake. I have a chart that I want to show you, which is S&P to finish, because we have an interview today, Dale, I believe. No. Oh, nice. But I don't want to take your time also, or neither. So at this point,
we can wrap early, Andre.
Yeah, we have these. Actually, I want to show you this bearish cipher pattern above at 78% retracement. I published that that pattern before the completion point, a few points before. So for those who are subscribing ForexAnalytix, you are aware of this trade. And at the bottom, we have this, bullish Gartley pattern that I was expecting to be formed at 127 extension. The market has extended a few points below to the 141, and it has nailed the previous bottom, rejecting the previous bottom to close below. So at this point, this offers me an opportunity to go long on S&P, and we are now apparently rejecting, and for now rejecting to close above this previous structure support printed at the golden fib. So I need the price, obviously, and why it's important for me to cover this S&P at this point and not before the completion point, beside the fact that I shared that pattern also before the completion point. But it's important for our subscribers and for those who engage at this trade to understand that at this point we have no there's no probabilities behind this price level at this point. What I mean is I have a huge probability for the price to work in the direction of the pattern at this point. We are now trading the the default target for the pattern at 38% retracement. So at this point, I will not be surprised to see a pullback. We are now rejecting the daily fractal support level, the previous daily fractal support printed at last May 20. So this was the daily fractal support. And we are now rejecting also that daily support. So we keep respecting this level as a support, and which will work for me. So I want to see the price trading higher, but I will not be surprised to see a small pullback, eventually retesting the 38% retracement, or even a few points below. I believe at this point I will see we will see S&P trading higher from here, at least retesting this high. So I need a reinforcement of this bearish descending trend line as a potential resistance, and if that happens, we keep partitioning our position. And to finish, Dale, and the reason why it's important is because at this point we are trading the 38% retracement. We have break-even our stop losses, so I suggest always a break-even trade at this point. And if the market decides to trade the second target, I will activate a dynamic or a trailing stop to follow the price. If the price decides to rally, I will rally with the price with a stop loss positioned at break even. And at this point we need to adjust our stop losses at profit and try to trail it during that process. If that is the case, at this point I have no probabilities to trade lower or to trade higher. I don't know at this point where the price goes. I only know where to engage the market with the better probability behind. So this was a trade. And again, partitioning our trade, it's always my suggestion, and a dynamic and a trailing stop above your second target. So my first target at 38% retracement, second target at the golden fib. If the market decides to trade above this fractal, I will trail that position during that process.
Nice look and great tactics.
Thank you. And this concludes my presentation for today.
Okay, buddy.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
You too, Andre. Thank you so much for your great work and coming in here to fill in and make face as great as it is. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap, everyone. Hope you had a great trading week. We'll be closed for Monday, Memorial Day here in the States, I think. Oh, thank you, Hamid. Yeah, it's my birthday Monday. So, you know, if you want to say happy birthday, go ahead and thank you, Rick. Sign up, become part of our community. You're welcome, Alina. Thank you, Ping Pong. Everyone, have a great weekend. Remember, thank you, Alina. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. You guys are a blessing to us, okay? We love being able to help, edify, bring in guests to give you ideas and share our ideas. And you too, Alan. You have a great weekend. And we'll see you on Tuesday, everyone. Thank you, Alina. All right. That's a wrap, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll be back on Tuesday. So, you know, you have a long weekend to prepare for next week's trading. Enjoy your loved ones, your families. They can't read your mind. Tell them that you love them so that they know it for sure instead of guessing. And like I'll tell you, I love all you guys. So you know it. And I'll see everyone on Tuesday. Adios.